Kylo Chin. Ricky, and unfortunately tonight, flashes out in the field. I'm Thatcher, the undrafted. Let's get started.
So the Eagles lost to the Dolphins 37-31. Personally, I think Cowboys are the easy favorite to come out of the NFC East, mainly just because the Eagles look like a mess, and the Giants and Redskins are just awful. Even though the Redskins just came off a win, they are nothing special.
Well, hold on. Honestly, about the Cowboys being the favorite, honestly, I don't think so. Mainly because they lost to the Bills. Josh Allen had so much time in the pocket that he had enough time to think about what he wanted for Christmas. That's how bad it was.
The Bills are a good team.
It's true. It's true. What, 93?
The Bills may be a good team, but the Cowboys still should have won that.
The Eagles lost to the Dolphins.
They should not have given Josh Allen that much time.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, in my opinion, yeah, the Eagles, they really dropped the ball in this one. They should have won that game. It's a really, really not confident Dolphins team that they just, Dolphins might go on a winning streak because of this. I mean, their punter might throw a couple more touchdowns, catch a couple more touchdowns, we'll see. But honestly, the NFC East is going to go down to whoever wins the Week 16 matchup between the Cowboys and Eagles. Whoever wins that game is most likely going to be the winner of the conference. I know the Eagles have a couple more easy games left, but yeah, it's going to go down to that Week 16 matchup. Everyone's going to be watching it. But I do end up thinking that the Cowboys do end up making the playoffs and beating the Eagles in Week 16.
Yeah, right. And people are giving the Cowboys crap for going on a 2-game losing skid. But they lost to the Patriots last week and then the Bills this week. Both really good teams. I don't know where we're getting sketched out about.
Moving on to the 49ers and Ravens. Are they a possible Super Bowl matchup? In my estimation, possibly, but highly doubtful. They are two really, really young teams. Yes, Garoppolo was a Patriot at one point, but yeah, he's been hurt the last few years. I don't think he hasn't really been in the playoffs other than as a backup. So he has no experience in the playoffs, and when the playoffs hit, especially in the NFC, it's anyone's game. Whereas in the AFC, whoever comes out, it's usually Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, and that 1 year Joe Flacco in the past 18 years. So I would say it's very unlikely. They're two really good teams, and I think that they could make the Super Bowl here in a couple of years. But the likeliness of them making the Super Bowl this year is really unlikely. I mean, in the NFC, you got a lot of teams to worry about. The Saints, the Packers.
It's loaded.
It's loaded, yeah.
The AFC loaded.
And the AFC, I mean, regardless of how old Tom Brady is, unfortunately I have to say, they're always a contender. And everyone knows it. So that's just my 2 cents on that topic.
Yeah, most certainly. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. With the AFC just being the same teams every single year. This year, it's the Patriots, the Chiefs, and possibly the Texans.
I'd like to put a little thing in there. I think the 49ers have a better shot than the Ravens, even though the Ravens won the head-on-head. I just think defense is super important in the playoffs. When it gets super cold, defense travels, not your passing game always. So look for defense to really come in strong.
Yeah, but do you think that since the San Francisco plays in sunny California, that's going to play a role if they do have to leave and play somewhere else?
Maybe offensively, but I think defense is just defense no matter where you are or what weather. You look at the Patriots, they're good at defense every year. It doesn't matter rain, snow. They're always pretty dominant. And they have a pretty good run game, so, no worries having to throw the ball. You just hand it off to them.
I definitely think the 49ers and Ravens are definitely a possible Super Bowl contenders just because 49ers are definitely top of the NFC right now, apart from whoever else is in their division. And then the Ravens are, Lamar Jackson is just a superior quarterback in the league. His scrambling on his own and running into the end zone was definitely a surprise from a young quarterback like him. I definitely got 49ers and Ravens for this year's Super Bowl just because not only are they my favorites to win, not only are they my favorites for the Super Bowl, but honestly, they're two of the best teams in the league, and I can definitely see them both going all the way. Also, screw Tom Brady. He's old as hell.
Yeah.
Do you think that? Oh, so is it a lock for you, or it's possible?
It's just a possible, but if it comes down to the playoffs and they both advance really quickly, then it's going to be a lock.
Yeah, definitely.
So moving on, we have Chiefs and Texans make statements heading towards the playoffs. So for that, the Chiefs and Raiders game was, to me, a disappointment. I thought the Raiders were going to do better. It was an absolute disappointment, and the Raiders just got blown out 40-9. Honestly, I feel like the Raiders should have been able to put up a little more points than that, but honestly, it was just a disappointment. And then for the Patriots in the Texans game, that turned out to be something different than what I thought it was going to be. I thought the Patriots were going to win that. But the Texans winning 28-22 was definitely a surprise, and I loved every single moment of that game.
Yeah, definitely. And so the Chiefs this week, they beat the Raiders. Let's not put too much clout behind that. Even though it was a blowout and they looked really good, beating the Raiders is beating the Raiders, and you really can't put too much clout behind that.
But isn't that the divisional game?
It is. Yeah, definitely. But then they made a statement in their division, but in the league, they still beat.
I'm just saying most divisional games are usually tough fought and pretty close.
Yeah, you always. It's a big
Doesn't
deal.
matter.
It's a big deal.
But,
I still think that we should be saying, "Oh, no, that was a really good win." It was, but so anyway, yeah. But the Texans, on the other hand, beat the Patriots. That's a big deal. Even if a lot of the defensive players were sick, they still beat the coaching staff, which is really, if you go back 2 Super Bowls, that's where the wins are coming from. Once the coaching staff decides to say, "Hey, you know what? It's all you guys. Go ahead and go win the Super Bowl." That's where the Patriots start to fall.
The Chiefs, I don't know if it was just a flash of a week, but they looked a lot like the team they were last year. Mahomes started to making the passes he usually does. And the Texans, Watson is looking elite. He's reading the defense. He's become less of a scrambler, more of a surgeon offensively. And DeAndre Hopkins has proved lately why he was originally rated a 99 on Madden. He's been playing real well.
Okay, so I believe that the Chiefs had a pretty good win. It was against the Raiders, who had a winning record coming into the game. They had a chance to take the division. It was a big deal, and if they won that game, there would be a whole new story. There would be a whole different story talked about today. But the Chiefs, for moving forward, they just need to keep getting healthy and keep doing what they were doing this past weekend. They looked really, really pretty good. Once again, their defense needs improvement as that's been the knock the last couple of years. But yeah, that was definitely a statement win, because that win probably won them the division. If they lose, pretty good chance the Raiders win that division. And for the Texans, that's not a big deal at all. The Patriots had 9 guys ill. They literally flown on a different plane to the game. They had, it was almost going in knowing that they were going to lose. Most of those guys were on defense, which is where they definitely lacked, because Deshaun Watson tore them up. The Texans have been very up and down this year. They lost to teams they shouldn't have, and they've beaten teams that they should have, or maybe not should have. But they're definitely up and down. It really wasn't that much of a statement. The statement I'm going to make about the Texans is actually they are going to miss the playoffs. I know they are 8-4, but they the rest of their schedule, they got the Broncos, who's got a good defense, and I believe they can shut Watson down and limit him and make that a game, and they might win that one. But they got the Titans twice, and they are clipping on their heels at 7-5. As do they, and they also have the Colts at 6-6. So they play the Titans twice, and I don't believe that they beat the Titans either time. And then their last game is at the Bucks. And yes, the Bucks haven't played well this year, but they're going to give them a tough fight, and I believe they can pull out out, and I think the Texans are going to lose 3 of their last 4 and end up 9-7 and out of the playoffs.
All right, so I have a question. So you think that the Texans won because the Patriots' defense was weak? It had nothing to do with the fact that
Yeah, I mean,
their defense was shutting down Tom Brady and the offense?
Okay, yeah, so that has been brought up, yes, that Tom Brady and the offense got shut down. But one, they scored 22 points, and I know that a couple of those touchdowns were in garbage time. But as you've seen almost every Patriots game this year, they win 10-7, they win 13-10. They don't score points. They have not been known all year to score points. They've been known for their defense. And when you take you take Stephon Gilmore out, you take Van Noy, you take your main defensive players out, who's been shutting players down all left and right all year. Stephon Gilmore is the best corner in the league. And you take those guys out of the game where they're sick, it's going to give that next team the advantage because one, the guys coming in for them don't get first team reps, and it's just a whole bunch of confusion when you bring in that much backup players. So yes, for the Patriots offense, it's been what it's been all year. This weekend, and that's subpar. They've been relying on their defense a lot this year.
I'll have to say that you're not wrong about them being ill and that they shouldn't have put up 22 points, but you also got to realize they didn't put up those 22 points till, towards the end of the third quarter,
Right. So
then the fourth quarter,
garbage time.
garbage time basically. So by that time, the defense of the Texans were probably worn out, didn't have the energy. So at that point, the Patriots had the opportunity to try and win, but at the same time, they probably knew we're not going to win this, so we're just going to try and get it as close as we can.
Okay, but if they didn't have the energy and stamina or whatever that you're saying, that means that they didn't make a statement. A statement, in my opinion, if the Patriots came in with 9 guys ill, if they came in with the offense they've had all year, if the Texans were really going to make a statement, they'd have won 49-10. They would have won 56-10. I mean, it's not the same Patriots we've seen all year.
I do have something to add. If it is the sickness that's holding them back, we're gonna see a good test next week against the mean-looking Bills Mafia. That should be a good game. Sick or not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Aren't they playing the Chiefs next week?
They're playing the Chiefs this week.
My boy Luka took down the Lakers last night. Does that mean the Lakers are still the favorites? Lakers were never the favorites in my book. It was always the team right across the road, the Clippers. But that win for the Mavericks doesn't change anything with the Lakers. They're still a top-tier team.
Now hold on. The Mavs are probably, they may have Luka, but at the same time, they shouldn't have won that game just because the Lakers are still the favorites, in my opinion. My opinion, the Lakers are probably going to go all the way against whoever they play, but the Mavs, they just got lucky in that game, honestly.
Yeah, they scored more points.
They shouldn't have been able to. The Mavs just got lucky on winning that game.
Okay, so that leads me to the question: do you think that Lakers were coasting? Like, why did the Mavericks?
I feel like the Lakers were just gonna let them win, just so. I feel like the Lakers are just like, okay, we're just gonna let these guys win and just say fuck it.
Saying it was luck though.
That basically is luck for having the Lakers let you win. That's lucky because the Lakers should have dominated that
There's
game.
no luck in it. Ball don't lie.
All right, the Lakers are still the favorites. I mean, they got LeBron and AD. Barring any injuries, they look like the team we've seen all year. And in the first half, they played a really, really good first half against the Mavericks. They held Luka to 6 points. It was just a tale of two halves. They couldn't hit any shots in the second half, and Luka definitely in the third quarter, started heating up. And it's one of those early games. It's a long season. It doesn't change. It doesn't change that the Lakers are the favorites at all. But it's a nice feather in the cap for the Luka and the Mavericks early in the season.